Pokemon, Pokemon, Pokemon. Let's do it. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a Pokemon sales data video. I'm so sorry it's been a while. It's been a crazy couple of days, couple of weeks actually, with the new game and new everything. Patreon down below, link to everything down below. This video is brought to you by Kale Chips. Why? Because these things are freaking awesome. Alright, so a little bit, not an insane amount to go over today, but there's a couple things I do want to talk about. Gym Heroes, Rockets Moltres, first edition PSA 9, so for $316. This is the third Moltres in the group. We have obviously one from the Fossil set. That's the first one. Blaine's Moltres, which I thoroughly enjoy. I love the fact that some people can have legendary Pokemon. Anyone remembers that? Was it Pokemon? I forget what season it was. Ash has his Charizard back. He goes and fights this one gym leader. He's got a Hawaiian shirt on. He's got an Articuno. That was one of the best fights I think I've ever seen. And when they have that, I think it's great. So when Blaine has that Moltres, fantastic. When Rocket has the Moltres, not as fantastic. Same way when Rocket has the Zapdos. Okay, if Rocket can have a Zapdos, I like it better when they don't have the Zapdos. But they don't have Rocket's Articuno. They have Rocket's Mewtwo, which is weird. It should be Blaine's Mewtwo, but I digress. Gym Challenge. We have Gym Challenge pack with Sabrina artwork, first edition, sold for $415, and a Giovanni pack, first edition, sold for $590. These are both unweighed, supposedly, and I don't know why Giovanni sold for so high and Sabrina sold for so little. They were from the same seller, so they should have, on average, if you add them together, divide by 2, $502.50. And if you average that out, multiply it by 36, because that's how many of those are in a box, comes out to $18,090. Not what I think a Gym Challenge box should go for, considering if you have 36 packs, figure about 12 of them would be hollow. Well, yeah, I mean, figure it's a little bit more than, about double of what Blaine's Charizard would go for, first edition PSA 10. So I guess that's about what you want. It's not like the the first edition base set boxes where you have $450,000 for a box and the Charizard's just behind it with like $396. So I mean it's a little different. I guess these make sense so far. A couple of these are my sales. We have Koga's Ditto first edition PSA 10 sold for $550. Giovanni's Nidoking first edition PSA 10 sold for $800. Rocket's Mewtwo first edition PSA 10 sold for $2,000. Sabrina's Alakazam first edition PSA 10 sold for $700. It's about 35, so it's about 4K right there. And Lieutenant Surge's Pikachu first edition PSA 10 sold for $200. It is extraordinarily difficult to let these cards go. Koga's Ditto I have a couple of, and Sabrina's Alakazam. It hurts for Sabrina's Alakazam because that is one of the most underrated cards in the set. I'm not saying that because it's the first appearance of an Alakazam. It's not. It's the third. You have Alakazam in the base set. You have Dark Alakazam in the Rocket set. This is just... Sabrina has this Pokemon. It's very well known. It is a glass cannon. First generation. There's almost no... I would much rather take a Psychic-type Pokemon over a Dragon-type Pokemon in Generation 1. Not that... Because... Dragons at that point, they don't have any super effective attacks. There's not any. There's Dragon Rage, which is a dragon attack, but that standard only does 40 damage, so it doesn't matter who uses it. Gyarados could use it. Dragonite, Dratini could use it. Doesn't matter. But Psychic-type Pokemon, they don't really have weaknesses. It's supposed to be Ghost, but because there's a glitch or a coding error in the first generation, Ghost doesn't affect them. They are so OP. Sabrina's Alakazam, you can hit it with a physical attack and it'll go down. But it is so fast, too. It is so cool. There's like 140 first edition PSA 10 copies in the pop report. And I had 3 of them. I'm going to have 2 after I send this one out. They should be no less than $1,500 in my opinion. But you can get them for $700. I'll have another one up for sale in 2 days, which will be I'll put it for $900 or best offer. You can probably offer $800 for it. I'll probably take it. These are just... And then Giovanni's Nidoking, it hurt to sell that because I think that's the last one I have, and that was one of my favorite cards when I was younger. And I'll get it back eventually once I pay off the Trophy Kangaskhan and do a bunch of other stuff, but That was exciting to see. I made the sale, but it's a record price point, but I am very somber about it. Outside of that, we do have another Rockets Mewtwo First Edition PSA 10. It's on sale right now for $17.50 or best offer. I'm gonna change that a little bit. I'm gonna put you all back because my neck is hurting. Why is it $17.50 or best offer when mine is $2K? That sold for just because it has a couple of scuff marks on the case on the bottom right corner of it. So that's probably why someone just doesn't want to go get a case, because then you introduce a lot of risk. Someone opening up the case, cracking it, and then trying to recase it. Even if they are professionals at PSA. And then, oh yes, okay. So we have a. Let's see, payoff. Oh yeah, so High Key Nerd, HIGHKEYNERD. High Key Nerd is the username. They are selling a whole bunch of first edition PSA 10 WotC Hollows, and in an attempt to pay off their house. And every single card was like a shining. They were really good cards, and I was like, okay, it says $250 is their starting bid, or best offer. Now I don't want, because I want to buy all of them if I can, because I don't think this has a lot of traction. They're not using cosigner like PWCC. They're not using SM Pratt or Probstein 321 123 whatever it is. They're just doing it by themselves, and there's a decent chance with this. That's why I gave you, this is Patreon type stuff right here. I already did the work for you. I put the $250 starting bid in. I don't care if I win all of them. If I win all of them at that price, great. I won't, because those cards are worth so much more. If Shining Mewtwo, Shining Raichu, Shining Noctowl, Shining Tyranitar, you have a couple of other first edition WotC PSA 10s, and it's just absolutely bananas that they're doing this with no reserve. So, or like I said, or best offer. I don't want someone offering, like $1,000 for that Shining Raichu, and then the High Key Nerd takes it. I was like, oh my god, that's stupid undervalued for even $1,500 or even $2,000. So I did that work for you guys, and I'll compete with some of you guys on them because I want them, especially that Mewtwo. Have one already. Neo Genesis, we have Lugia First Edition PSA 9, a little bit of a dip at $5,600. Meganium number 11. This is the one that is not as good artwork in my opinion, but also it is not as rare. It is more common. It's easier to grade. First Edition PSA 9 sold for $610. I believe that's a record price point. And Jungle Set, we had a Flareon First Edition PSA 10. So for $2,025. Base set, Charizard Unlimited PSA 9, $2,125. I think those are going to be up a little bit. Before I get into the other Patreon type stuff that I'm going to go over, I will say that if I had an extra $500 to $800 to spend in this, and I saw Sabrina's Alakazam for $700, yeah, absolutely stupid undervalued. And again, the only reason I'm selling is just to pay off this Trophy Kangaskhan. But yeah, that's what I put my money in. But speaking of Trophy Kangaskhan, I like that little segue there. If you like that, smash the like button for me, please. And please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. So, Trophy Kangaskhan, there are 3 of them that are PSA 10 on eBay right now. And all of them have tiniest bit something wrong with them. Obviously, not all 10s are created equal. You can have one that's absolutely stellar. That could be a BGS 10. Or you could have one and be like, soft 10. If this got a 9, I'd be like, okay. The first one, actually, no, we'll go in order. The one that is $500,000 or best offer is from SM Pratt, the Prince of Pokemon himself. But on the bottom right, on the back of the card, there's a little teeny tiny, there's whitening. The corners, that would not get a black label BGS 10. It might get a BGS 10 gold label and a 9.5 for the corners, or even a 9 for the corners. But it would not get that 10. At least not in the black label like everyone wants. Now, obviously, if you're going to want to buy from someone, SM Pratt has the most notoriety. It's going to be a very public sale. But Scott was already offered $200,000 for this card like weeks ago, like a month ago. And he's like, no, can't do it. And that's with it being a slightly imperfect 10. So there's that. Then you have a $350,000 or best offer one. SM Pratt has 2 picks. This person also has 2 pictures as well. But this one on the bottom left on the back, same thing. It's a little bit of edge wear, and the corners is not as good. It would not get a BGS black label. It still might get a 10 with a 9 or 9.5 for the corners. And then the other one, it's $341,000 or best offer. And that's the cheapest that you can get this PSA 10 at. Now, again, it's or best offer, so if you offer him $300,000, will he take it? I don't know. I don't know what the back looks like because there's only one picture of it. If that person had put 2 pictures of it, maybe it would sell quicker. But it doesn't. So I would not buy that card. Even if I had an extra $1.5 million in the bank and I could get that for $300,000, I would not buy it just because I don't know what the back looks like. And the back could look very good, or most likely the back was probably something a little wrong with it. But if the other 2 that are on there have a tiny bit of something wrong with it, and they show it, the person that has it for $341 might be like, you know what, mine looks even worse than theirs. That's probably why he has it as the cheapest one. That being said, mine looks stout. Mine, I think, could get a BGS 10 black label. I'm not going to risk it, someone, cracking the case and then doing that. But someone would offer me $300,000 for it. Like, let's go with SM Praz. Like, you want to go to SM Praz, it's got a lot of notoriety, big face in the hobby. If that same person offered me $200,000, would I take it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is too little for this card. Especially when the third one, the one that's least available, or the one that's most available, that's the cheapest on there, is $341 or best offer. So definitely not. But also, why not? Because there's 3 of them on here right now. Eventually, on a long enough timeline they'll go, but I don't know when. But eventually, at some point, one by one, these cards will get sold. One by one, that $341 or best offer will be sold. And it's not going to be sold to a flipper. If you're spending that type of capital and it's going to take you a year or 2 because when you flip, it's all about, all right, I'm going to buy right now and sell within a couple weeks or a month or 2 months. You can't move a Trophy Kangaskhan that fast. Once this is sold, like, if you're a flipper, you're not going to buy this, even if you have well into the several $100,000 to float, because it's not like you can get it back right away. You have to float that for several months. They're not going to do that. So it is going into the hands of other collectors. Once they get that card, these people that are selling know that once they sell this card, they're never going to get it back for that price again. That is something that is just impossible. Because if that person at $341, it sells, let's say, $300,000, damn sure these guys are not going to sell for $300,000. They're not. Maybe SM Pratt, because he matched the other one that sold at PWCC auction. But no, so even if someone said $300,000 to buy mine, I could not do it, because let's say these are all gone. Let's say these are not here, and once I sell that card, I'm not going to get it back in, at least not for that price. And I don't think I'm going to have $3 million and I could say, oh, you know what, I could spend $1 million on this card again in the future. I don't, even if I do have that, which I probably will eventually, I don't want to do that again. I want to have this card and enjoy it for a long time. But like I said, there's going to be a time where there's going to be no Trophy Kangaskhan's on eBay, and then it's just going to be some millionaire. Maybe it'll be not Justin Bieber again. Maybe it'll be someone that will just go on E4 and be like, all right, $1 million for it. Will I do it then? If that happens next year, probably not, because I don't want to enjoy it for a while, but I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's just this video that I wanted to go over, just let you know where my head's at as far as buying and selling a bunch of these. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I love you all. Goodbye. Meow.